Hey friends, my name is Becca and welcome to my channel. I'm back with another Gordon Korman novel. I know I do a lot of Gordon Korman first chapter Friday read alouds, but he is my favorite after all. So what else can you expect? This book is called Linked. We are going to read the first chapter of it today. I'm really excited to share it with you. And if you're not familiar with Gordon Korman, I highly suggest you check out this book amongst any of his other books. My favorites probably being Restart, The Fort, Slacker, Listen, as I said, he's my favorite. So actually all of his novels are kind of high on my list. We're going to dive right on in and read the synopsis that is in the front inside cover to get a little bit of an idea what this book is going to be about. You can't deny something is wrong when it's right there in front of you. Link, Michael, and Dana live in a quiet town, but it's woken up very quickly when someone sneaks into school and vandalizes it with a swastika. Nobody can believe it. How could such a symbol of hate end up in the middle of their school? Who would do such a thing? Because Michael was the first person to see it, he's the first suspect. Because Link is one of the most popular guys in school, everybody's looking to him to figure it out. And because Dana's the only Jewish girl in the whole school, everyone's treating her more like an outsider than ever. The mystery deepens as more swastikas begin to appear. Some students decide to fight back and start a project to bring people together instead of dividing them apart. The closer Link, Michael, and Dana get to the truth, the more there is to face. Not just the crimes of the present, but also the crimes of the past. With Linked, Gordon Korman, the author of acclaimed novel Restart, poses a mystery for all readers, where the who did it isn't nearly as important as the why. Now, this book was published back in 2021, and as I'm recording this video, it's 2024, so we know that this also kind of ties into some of the current events going on in our world. All right, let's dive right on into that first chapter. So if you're not familiar with Gordon Korman's books, really quick, I should let you know he changes perspective as chapters go on. So each chapter is written from a different perspective of a different character. Our first chapter is written from Michael Omarosa's point of view. My mother says I'd lose my head if it wasn't attached to my body. Too bad my phone isn't also attached somewhere. I left it at school again. I know this because it butt dialed our landline at home. I have no idea why. Ever since I dropped it in the toilet, it's been glitchy. When I pick up, I hear a muffled motor in the background. I'm hoping that means the phone is in my locker and the noise is Mr. Kennedy, the custodian, using the big floor polishing machine. Then the sound dies abruptly. That either means Mr. Kennedy finished polishing or my phone died. It's super old, so a battery charge lasts a millionth of a second. I jump on my bike. Choke Cherry is a pretty small town, but we live on the opposite side, so it's a long ride. I'm used to it though. I always leave something at school, and 9 times out of 10, I have to go back and get it. Mom and Dad would give me a lift, but then they'd no. I'm going out is all the detail I provide. Thanks to the new security, every single door of the school is locked. But I still go from entrance to entrance, banging and yelling, hoping that Mr. Kennedy is close enough to one of them to hear me over the roar of the polisher. To my surprise, the door to the boys' locker room swings open. When I kick it, I'm in. I'm entering the school from the back corner that leads out to the football field, but my locker is in the main hall, not far from the principal's office. The floor polisher sounds far away, maybe upstairs. I open my locker and there it is, the world's oldest phone. I probably shouldn't have called it 11 times because it's sitting on a tray of poster paints, and all that vibrating has made the blue and yellow leak out together, raining green blobs down on my geography textbook. I'm president of the art club, so I've always got supplies in my locker, and stains on my gym clothes and books, etc. Last year, I got charged a $50 cleaning fee to remove the melted pastel from my iPad screen. Like it's my fault the temperature went up to 100 over the weekend before the last day of school. I checked the phone. Dead, just like I suspected. I shut my locker and turned to leave. Only I don't leave. I freeze. I blink and blink again, struggling to wrap my mind around what I'm seeing. It's spray painted in red on the blank expanse of wall above the staircase leading to the second story. A large X with each arm continued at a right angle. I stare at it in horror and disbelief, hoping that my eyes are deceiving me and this ugly red symbol is something other than what I know it is, a swastika. Michael? Mr. Kennedy's voice startles me out of my state of shock. I drop my phone, which bounces on the floor. It's probably cracked, possibly ruined, but I can't tear my gaze from the symbol on the wall. What did you forget this time? The custodian asks in exasperation. All I can do is point up. When Mr. Kennedy sees it, a sharp gasp is torn from him. He turns to me. You didn't, he begins. I mean, you wouldn't. Of course not, I answer. Why would the only Dominican kid in the whole school be the one to draw a racist symbol? I almost add, nobody would. But there's the evidence right in front of us. Somebody did. I reach down and pick up my phone and almost drop it again. The screen is fractured, but even through the spider web of damage, I can see that awful thing on the wall reflected in the glass. The custodian takes out his own phone. I'm calling the police. All right, that was actually the end of chapter 1. I don't know, that was a really short chapter. Do we do chapter 2? I'm trying to see how long chapter 2 is. It's kind of long. What do you think? If only you could answer me. All right, let's do it. Chapter 2, only because, chapter 1 was short. We need a little more. Chapter 2 is written from the perspective of Lincoln Rowley. Let's get one thing straight. None of this would have happened if it wasn't for dinosaur poop. I'm not making excuses for myself or anybody else, but way back in the Jurassic period, some stegosaurus went to the bathroom in our mountains, and 100 million years later, Jordy Duros, Clayton Pouncey, and I are teetering across a darkened parking lot, struggling under the weight of an 80-pound bag. Are you sure this is the right stuff? I pant as the bag passes under the glow of the street lamp. It says peat moss mix, not fertilizer. What if it doesn't stink? Pouncey worries. Trust me, when we open the bag, we'll have more stink than we know what to do with, Jordy assures me. My mom topped the cedar hedge with this stuff 3 weeks ago, and I'm still sleeping with my windows closed. It's a cool night, but carrying the heavy sack has us grunting and sweating like pigs. The girls are waiting for us in front of the office. What took you so long? Sophie Taverner complains. We're freezing here. Try carrying this, I groan. It'll warm you right up. The sign on the door reads, Wexford Smith University, Department of Paleontology. Why does a snooty college in Massachusetts have an office more than 2,000 miles away in Chokecherry, Colorado? That's where the dinosaur poop comes in. This is where they found it, all neatly fossilized. It looks like a rock, but don't you believe it. First they found the poop, then they found a footprint in the poop. Dinosaurs weren't too picky where they stepped. So the college sent a crew to investigate, and when the first bone fragments popped up, that was it. They say the scientists will be here for years. A few of their kids even go to our schools. The digging is happening in the mountains, but the university opened up this little office in town so the PhDs can have a home base and also rub it in our faces how much smarter they are than us locals. The prank is my idea, inspired by a comment from Pouncey. Basically, if you get your jollies crawling on your hands and knees digging up fossilized poop, then you'll really love an office full of the real thing, smell included. Who brought the funnel? Pouncey asks the girls. I did. Pamela Bynes holds up one of those plastic-looking funnels. The opening is maybe 1/8 of an inch. Aw, Pam, Jordy explodes. There's no way we can get 80 pounds of fertilizer through that thing. Even in the gloom, I can see her face flame red. You just said funnel. You didn't say big funnel. It's fine, I interrupt. Once Pamela and Jordy start flirt fighting, it can go on for hours. They've been like that since we were all 7. True love, I guess. It's usually pretty entertaining, but not when you're carrying an 80-pound load. Shifting the weight of the bag to my left hand, I tear a 4-inch hole in the corner with my right. Instantly, the overpowering smell of manure reaches all our nostrils. Pam wrinkles her nose. That stinks. It's poop, Pam, not roses, Jordy snaps at her. Sophie holds open the mail slot and we insert our makeshift spout, and then we hold the bag high, tilted, and begin shaking it until we feel the fertilizer start to pour out. Pamela produces a 3x5 card that reads dinosaur poop and stuffs it through the slot. Just in case they don't get the joke, she supplies. They're scientists, Jordy says impatiently. They're smart. They'll get it. They just might not appreciate it, I add, with as much of a grin as I can manage under the circumstances. They're not so smart, Pouncy scoffs. What's a diploma? A fancy piece of paper, that's what my dad says. He talks about his father a lot, which is weird, since the two of them can barely stand each other. I brought this. Sophie reaches into her jacket pocket and produces the wishbone from a medium-sized chicken. Westmere Smith didn't really get excited until they found bones. She stuffs the fossil through the mail slot. That makes us all laugh, even Pouncy, who isn't known for his sense of humor. Since our eyes are adjusted to the darkness, when the car turns into the parking lot, the headlights are blinding. We pull the fertilizer bag out of the door, but there's no hiding it. We are caught in the act, lit up like performers on a stage. Jordy bellows, "Run!" "No!" I gasp. I'm too late. They all take off, leaving me literally holding the bag. Maybe 10 or 15 pounds went through the slot. The rest of it collapses on top of me. My head strikes the pavement, and I see a few stars that are not necessarily in the sky. I hear a car door and running feet. By the time I manage to roll out from under the sack and make it up to my knees, a man is gazing down at me with concern. "You okay, kid? What stinks?" I try to say I'm fine, but the wind has been knocked out of me by at least 65 pounds of fertilizer. "I told you the dry cleaner was closed," called a woman's voice from the car. She pauses. "Hey, isn't that George Rowley's boy?" Busted. The problem with living in a one-horse town like Chokecherry is you can't get away with anything, especially when your dad is George Rowley, owner of Chokecherry Real Estate, the largest and the only real estate agency in Chokecherry in Greater Shadbush County. He loves this town more, I think, than he loves his troublemaking son. Which is why I became the mastermind behind Operation Dino Doo-Doo. Even though 5 of us pulled the prank at the strip mall, I was the only one who didn't have the luxury of taking off, not after the lady recognized me. Everybody around here knows my father. He's kind of like the stealth mayor, although Mayor Radisson has nothing to worry about. Dad doesn't have time for local politics. He's too busy being Chokecherry's #1 cheerleader because, as he puts it, the town's success brings success to all of us. No wonder he's ticked off at me. Not only did I make fun of the town's pride and joy, but I was also a failure at doing it. Story of my life. "How do you think it feels, Link?" Dad demands once he has me in the SUV, "when I get a call from one of my own clients to tell me my son has been caught vandalizing an office?" "Everybody around here is your client," I point out. "So if you want the call to be from a stranger, I'll have to take the bus to Shadbush Crossings and mess up there." "Link," my mother warns from the shotgun seat. I call her the referee. "You're the one who's in the wrong. What were you thinking?" "He obviously wasn't thinking," my father puts in, "or none of us would be here right now." "I guess we thought it would be funny," I offer lamely. It's the truth. There are no bigger jokers in Chokecherry than Jordy, Pouncy, and me, with the girls as backup. To be honest, considering the time we spend pranking and goofing, we don't spend that much time laughing. Getting caught doesn't help, I guess. That's okay. For me, the real goal is getting the attention of people like Dad. Mission accomplished, although maybe not the way I'd planned. Thinking of the others, I'd quickly amend my answer to, "I thought it would be funny." I'm no snitch, even though my friends ran out on me. Mom shoots me an exasperated look over her shoulder. Oh, don't even bother. We aren't stupid, you know. One kid can't drag an 80-pound bag of fertilizer halfway across town. Who was with you? I don't answer, and Dad doesn't push it. Trust me, he isn't being cool or respecting the code of the schoolyard. He really, truly doesn't care who else is involved. All he's worried about is how this looks. Optics. His favorite word after chokecherry. Leave it to our town to be named after a wild berry sour enough to change your outlook on life with a pit the size of a cannonball. Dad wheels us onto Blossom Avenue. I'm not as out of touch as you think I am. I was a kid once too. I know sometimes you have to cut loose. But why that office, huh? The one group that's working to put Chokecherry on the map. That's the real reason Dad's so steamed about this. His main ambition of life is to turn our dumpy little mountain town into an A-list tourist destination. How's it going to happen? In a word, dinosaurs. If the Wexford Smith paleontologists are right and our little dig turns into a major find, Dad wants to reinvent Chokecherry as the dinosaur capital of North America. First, a museum full of towering skeletons surrounding a special glass case displaying the poop that started it all. Next, a theme park, Dino Disney, or Six Flags Dino Land. Then hotels, restaurants, ski resorts, golf courses. Our town is destined for greatness. And the real estate in it is destined for greatness too. And guess who bought up most of it? And if Dinoland turns out to be a bust, guess who owns 13,000 acres of nothing? Chokecherry's already on the map, I say. Why do we need scientists to make us important? I go to school with their kids, and they're all snobs and dweebs. Whoever heard of their stupid university anyway? You know what Orlando, Florida was before Disney found it? My father persists. A swamp. Look at it now. Chokecherry could be the next Orlando. Oh, too much traffic, Mom puts in. Dad ignores her. You have to think big picture, Link. The future of our town is the future of this family, and the future of this family is your future. I tune him out. If there's a word Dad likes almost as much as optics, it's future. In my mind, my entire life is this gigantic chess match where every move I make in the 7th grade has to be perfectly designed to bring about some glorious endgame decades later. When Jordy Pouncey and I spread lard across the 4th of July parade route, we were just trying to wipe out the marching band. How were we supposed to know that Semi was going to skid into a telephone pole? And when Dad banned me from all school sports teams as a punishment, it wasn't for plunging the whole town into darkness for 3 days. It was to protect your future. There was no point in describing to him how awesome it was going to be to watch the musicians floundering all over the intersection. My father has the sense of humor of a loaf of bread. There was even less point in explaining that taking me out of sports would be like pulling him off the Chokecherry Chamber of Commerce. I mean, I'm a pretty popular kid, but if you ask the people around here about Link Rowley, the main answer you'll get will be athlete. Dad thinks if he can just keep slamming me with punishment after punishment, I'll wise up. The truth is, I've wised up already. To him. Mom sighs her peacemaker sigh. Let's not fight. The sooner we can get this bag of fertilizer out to the shed, the sooner we can get the hose out the trunk. The sooner we can hose out the trunk. Dad grunts his assent and speeds up a little. We're stopped at a light when his phone rings. When he answers, we hear a lot of animated yelling on the other end of the line. Suddenly, he stomps on the gas, and we blow the light, screech through an illegal U-turn, and then blow the light in the opposite direction as we roar off down the road. George! Mom hangs onto the dashboard for dear life. Where are you going? That was Principal Bradamus, he replies grimly, leaning on the gas pedal. There's trouble at the school. All right, so we got to meet two of the main characters here. We got to meet Michael and Link. I'm really excited to meet some of the other characters in this novel. Well, I've read it, but I'm excited for you to meet some of the other characters in this novel, and hope you decide to check this out. If you enjoyed this First Chapter Friday Read Aloud, please consider liking and subscribing so you can be notified every time we have another First Chapter Friday Read Aloud. And until next time, my friends, happy reading.